Hey guys, Ted from Nerdarchy here. For Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with
Dave.
And today we got a GM911 / suggestion.
I think it's just a video. It's just more of a question.
Okay, so from Daniel Dodd, he wants to know how to run a Waterborne campaign. You know, pirates and vessels, and
all that good stuff. Pirates, ninjas, and dinosaurs. You know.
It's saying Smash Up.
Oh, all right. No, there was a Dragon magazine, and it was literally dinosaurs, pirates, and ninjas. Was the title for the Dragon magazine? I don't remember, but yeah, it's like, let's take all the awesome stuff and put it in one spot. Yes,
that would be pretty badass.
But before we get on with this, you guys, you know what time it is? Newsletter time. Jot down in the description below where you can find a link, where you can get weekly updates and tips from us, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
All right, so in order to run a Waterborne adventure, like you clearly are going to need your DMG, and the key points that you need to know. 119 has got your Waterborne vehicles,
and it basically gives our stats.
And it gives you the stats. Cost, speed, crew, passengers, cargo in tons, AC, hit points, and a damage threshold. So other than that, though, you're going to want to turn to page 255 and look at the siege equipment. So, you can look at your trebuchets, your ballista, your cannons, depending upon how far into technology you're actually
even the player's handbook has, on page 157 has the Waterborne vehicles and has their speed and their cost, as well as there might be a description here. There's a little bit of a description. There's not a whole lot. And it's kind of like blanketed together.
But so you've got on 118 you've got random encounters at sea. It's got a table, talks about weather at sea. You've got underwater stuff that's here as well. So you've got a lot.
I also know in the combat section of the player's handbook there is like a paragraph on underwater combat.
So there's a lot of fuel right here that you can use. It's not like you're going into this blind. But running the actual encounters or running the actual campaign, you have to look at, number one, what scope are you looking at? Are you looking at, the players are lost at sea and you're wondering, like, what do you do about food, water, and survival? Or are you looking at more along the lines of, like, all right, we're a mercenary ship or a pirate ship and you're out, looting and pillaging,
or you're a privateer,
or the other side of it is you're the privateer. You're going out hunting for pirates and this and that. So you want to figure out exactly.
I think actually a privateer is something different. Privateer is actually a sanctioned pirate in the sense that when you're at war with another nation, their ships are fair game. So basically. That nation, both nations usually will sanction privateers, right, which are technically ships with the right to be pirates, essentially.
Okay. Well, my apologies for not.
But yeah, in that kind of game, you could have pirates, you could have privateers, and then you could have like pirate hunters. Depending.
What was the ship that Drizzt, went
Sea
with?
Sprite.
Sea Sprite. So he was kind of the pirate hunter.
Yes, he was. Dundermon was a pirate hunter. One of the really important things for this campaign, one is the ship. Right, the ship is almost can be like a character unto itself. Make it one of your NPCs. Make it important. Make people care about the ship, right? Because it's like it's your lifeline, and
is the captain a PC or is the captain an NPC? And there has to be things that happen to the ship that affect everyone, so that you build on that, so that everybody cares about it. Partway into the campaign, something has to happen where the ship is lamed, so that you're stuck somewhere. And you have to find a way with the resources you have access to of how to repair the ship. And it could be something that, you put have several ideas of things that they could do and see what the players come up with. And if they come up with something that's not one of your ideas but sounds cool and will work, absolutely run with it. But by having something like that there, it really it makes that ship, that NPC, more alive and more of a character, even though it never says a word.
I also think your NPCs are really important in this kind of game because you're essentially on a confined space, and you can't really you really can't go very far. So and a ship requires a crew.
Right.
So like as the GM, the DM for this game, you need to like really flush out your NPCs. I mean, you don't have to do them all, but like there should definitely be some highlights. And I'm not talking about what their AC and what their hit points are. Like I'm talking about
names, personalities. Who do they get along with?
Physical traits. What do they look like?
And I would actually like. I've become a big proponent of this, but every session, give one player agency on creating one of the crew, and have an interaction that happens between them, and jot all your notes down, and like I said, let the players come up with it, and they might be like, oh well, Fleck is giving me issues again. He keeps insisting that I'm taking his portion of the meal, or blah 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 blah. Or it could be on the other side of like, oh well, I keep missing that one stare, and George is always right there to catch me. I don't know how he knows, but he's got some kind of intuition, and that can build, that can become something.
That could absolutely be a fun thing to do, is like to build the crew with your players as the game's going on, and you might want to set some parameters, some guidelines of what they can and cannot do, for them to work within, and you might do some fun things like maybe the ship has a mascot, whether it's a dog, a monkey, or a parrot. So you definitely do things with that. Use the environment. Use all the tropes and stories that you've either read or watched movies about.
Dolphins, mermaids,
Treasure
serpents.
Islands, that kind of things. Skull Island from King Kong.
Skull Island from everywhere, man. What are you talking about?
Well, that's true, but I'm specifically, you could literally do like the King Kong story,
right.
And it might even be fun to like throw that in there. I like doing stuff like that where, like once you do kind of like the unveil, it's like really obvious, and your players may catch on beforehand, which is totally fine. I like to throw in pop culture references whenever I can in my games, no matter what the genre is.
Right. You did a superhero game where every single session was just full of pop culture stuff.
Well, yeah, and I feel like with that genre, it's just so easy. Why not?
Excellent.
Yeah, we just didn't get to the part where Michael Jackson was going to be an alien.
Well, we did have his bubbles that grew to King Kong proportions, and carried the person on top of the Empire State Building.
Well, you gotta do stuff like that. So yeah, so like I think like the big thing with this kind of campaign is really think about the ship and the crew, and really try and build relationships with the players and these things so that they'll care about them. You can really have some really good social interactions. You might want I did a campaign where there was just some travel on a riverboat. And I had, I made up a gambling game, to be played on the ship. You can do things like that. I think it was something real simplistic. You're having to do with 3 6-sided dice, and it's basically like the high numbers win unless you have doubles or triples or something like that. But you can make up little things like that to get the players into it. Maybe they have, or maybe like the crew will, for fun or recreation, have wrestling matches. That your players can get involved with. Nothing lethal or damaging.
So you want to have downtime activities.
Yeah.
You want to make them care about the NPCs, and if you're getting into naval combat, at some point in time, one of those NPCs the players care about is going to die.
Right. Or maybe one of those players that the NPCs care about was going to die. But, it can go either way, It's your game, man. Have fun with it.
But, you see how they react to NPC death and, RPC death. And I think it would definitely, be interesting to see how things unfold.
Remember to play on all the tropes when you're not doing straight up, like, naval battle stuff, and, like, Flying Dutchman, Davy Jones' Locker, Mystery Islands.
Krakens.
Krakens, you need a Kraken or two. You know, so lean on all of that. And, you know, sometimes using the things that are kind of tropey and familiar add to the fun.
Absolutely.
You know, because everyone can kind of relate to that.
And you know, there's memories and feelings that people are going to automatically link to it.
Jonas and the Whale. Like, there's so many things you could do. Like, you could totally do the whole adventure inside of a monster. You know, some kind of great sea beast or something, you know. And it can involve just the players, or it can involve the whole ship and the whole crew. And they have to, like, figure out how to get out of the monster. Yeah, you know, so it could be something like that could be a lot of fun and interesting for an off session.
You've got plenty that you can use here. Hope that helps you out. If you guys have anything further to what we talked about, put it down in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, even subscribe.
You can go to nerdarchy.com and grab some nerdy swag at Nerdarchy the store.
So until next time, stay nerdy.